More Legend of Korra today, Season 2, Episode 3. We're continuing with Season 2, and now we're probably getting into something really interesting this episode based on the cliffhanger of last episode. It seems like there might be some sort of invasion or war going on, something happening. I think it's going to be super intriguing, and I'm liking what they're doing with the different characters. I'm liking seeing where they're going to take it, even though I'm not I'm also nervous because I feel very attached to these characters, and I also feel like they're kind of in a rough place right now, especially the relationships between like Korra and Tenzin, and even maybe Korra and Mako. That might be a bit shaky, I don't know. So yeah, I'm keen to see what happens in this episode. And yeah, I'm just gonna do my quick little spiel. Please don't skip it because it's very important. Just make sure to support the video if you can so that I can continue doing these videos. So liking, commenting, and subscribing, that stuff really helps me out and helps other people be able to find the videos. And I love reading your comments as well, so please make sure to keep leaving them. And if you want to watch the full-length reaction or just get more episodes of Legend of Korra, my Patreon account has all of that. And we are many episodes ahead on Patreon now. Like, we're like 4 episodes ahead maybe or something. So it's definitely worth going over there. You'll get your money's worth, trust me. So anyway, let's jump into Season 2, Episode 3 of The Legend of Korra. Here we go. Civil Wars, Part 1. Oh, okay. Yeah. Whew, this is gonna get spicy. What? You can't force us back into our homes. Hello? You could have just walked past us, guys. Oh my god, they're blocking the exits. That's so cool, honestly. That's such a cool idea, putting up those walls.
Why did you bring your troops down from the north?
Now that you've opened the southern portal, your energy is stronger as well.
With both portals open, our tribes will be united again.
I guess?
The world will be united again.
I mean, I don't like that they're, you know, trapping them in, though. They're kind of doing a little bit of just a dabbling and oppressing.
I haven't felt this at peace since...
That didn't last long.
Good morning, universe.
Bumi and I weren't on those great vacations.
Huh.
It was always just you and Dad.
What about the time he took us to Kyoshi
No, I can't
Island
have
to
been
ride the elephant course?
the favorite child.
We weren't there.
Oh, remember Ember Island?
Tenzin is
Those
the most
amazing
like
sand
Aang.
palaces we built on the beach? I could have sworn.
Yeah, maybe you were straight up just the favorite child. Maybe because you were an airbender?
Where's your sister? Who?
Who?
She's tall, talks real fast.
I'll find her.
Commander Bumi reporting for duty. Search and rescue missions are my specialty.
Yeah, sure.
What do you say
Help
we all
out.
go together?
Sure, I could use the help.
Good.
When I get back.
Troubling is when I get that itchy rash that won't go away and Julie's not around to scratch it. This is shocking. Sickening. But opposite. Remind me to get the recipe later.
Well, you just
What's
poured
your
some
point,
on the floor.
Eric?
How long before he starts telling us what kind of cookies we can
Stop
eat?
throwing them away!
Days.
Who wants to buy a ship full of stinking fish? Seriously, it's not rhetorical. I need to sell these fish.
unelaq is here to help us
Varrick's
out.
great. I love
He
him.
wants to show us how to restore balance with the spirits so they'll stop attacking.
If Unelaq doesn't pull his forces out, then we have no choice but to fight for our freedom.
Oh my god. Oh.
You want to start a war? Are you
It
crazy?
is called Civil Wars, Part
Darkness,
1.
Not us. He'll listen to what the Avatar has to say.
That's a good idea.
Do it for me.
I'll do it for the tribe.
Give your dad some
cannot
love.
stop.
Is that true, Eska?
Of course not, Desna. I will not miss it at all. I hold immense dislike for the South.
What the hell kind of laugh
Laugh at
is
my
that?
humorous quip.
It's been really great getting to know you. Really.
But you will be coming with me to
I was
the
thinking
north.
she would say that.
There we will live the rest of our lives together in icy bliss. Foolish Berlin.
I think he's not into her anymore.
You all right, bro? Don't make me. Oh, please don't make
You're your own man, Berlin.
Hey, if you're that unhappy, just break up with her.
Yeah.
Break up with her? You could do that? Yeah. Guys do it all the time. Tell her you're not that into her anymore. Oh, no, I don't think she'd like that. Ending a relationship is kind of like pulling off a blood.
Berlin's really funny.
Whew. I'm lucky you're so good at breaking girls' hearts.
Oh my god.
Ooh. No, it's just, yeah. Never mind.
Maybe you should do what Mako did and just like not actually break up with your girlfriend and just start dating someone else.
It's about our conversation this morning.
Yes?
I understand why
Why are
you
you
brought
just
your troops
sitting
here, but
silently on
I'm
a
afraid
throne?
it's sending the wrong message.
The dark spirits would thrive off this negative energy,
Mm-hmm.
and the world would be thrown into a battle between spirits and man.
Good, so make sure there's no
Catastrophic.
war.
Can prevent.
But you can prevent it. Stop
I'm usually the
holding
one
these
starting
people,
fights.
you
I don't
know,
know how to stop them from happening.
like cutting
As
off
the
their
Avatar, you
freedoms.
must remain neutral in this conflict. But I have no doubt you will become the most admired Avatar
He
the world
keeps
has
doing
ever
this,
known.
and it's
Thank you, Uncle.
it is supportive. He's genuinely supportive. I don't want to keep like bashing unelaq, even though I think he's shady and shifty and doing some bad things. The thing he's good at is being supportive of Korra.
Who threw those?
Kill those children! Oh my god. That could have really hurt those kids.
Think you're tough, huh?
You're all part of the same tribe. Start acting like it.
You're taking their side? We thought you were one of us.
No, she's
I'm
not
not
taking
taking
any
anyone's
side
side.
yet.
Hey!
You are the worst Avatar ever.
Well, that's a kid.
Everyone,
Don't listen too much to the
walk
kid.
away from this. Korra. Korra!
Man. Korra's poor dad. He's trying.
Just kidding. It's me.
Yeah, that was obvious. You did not do a very
Sign
good
for anywhere.
impression of her.
Why would Iki run off like
Public city that you forgot about your duty to your kids.
Are you tanking after
What are you,
Aang?
5 years old? He was so focused on saving the world and doing his duty. Don't laugh. That he never had time for us.
Besides, it all happened a long time ago. Why are we even talking about it?
This is interesting.
Because you see classic airbender technique. Cutting and running when things get tough.
Yeah. Did
Okay.
Dad teach you that?
I'm sorry. My dad just
Oh,
gets
she
me all
apologized
worked up.
right away.
You take a break.
Good
from all
job,
this
Korra.
Avatar stuff and we go out.
She's happy about that. She's not happy anymore. She lost it. It's not just the two of you anymore.
Time together, just the
5 of us.
5 of us.
Cause I thought it was pretty obvious.
No, not to me. It wasn't. I'm very bad at reading people.
Oh man, Bolin is
do something,
continuing to be
Avatar.
so funny. So consistently
this
funny.
reminds me. That's probably why the Avatar fired you.
I'm sick of your far-fetched tales.
Tenzin's taking a lot of
Well, I
lot of
may have
battering
thrown in
from
an
his
extra
siblings right
typhoon
now.
Or two for dramatic effect. If I can do it, it should be no problem for a couple of benders.
Fine.
Yeah, I imagine she's a waterbender like Katara. Yeah. I mean, she's also dressed in blue, so that helps.
If you need an airlift down, just say the word.
Ah, I don't need your help. I've got everything.
He's gonna
under
slip.
control.
He's gonna slip. Yep. Oh, Tenzin! You should have stopped that. You just standing there like, oh, look at him falling.
I don't know, but I don't want you getting caught in the
This is
middle
a
of it.
complicated
It's too late, Mom.
conversation.
Korra!
No, you need to talk. You should talk more. There's much more to unpack there, Korra. Much more than a 30-second conversation.
Uncle! Dad?
Huh.
I'll tell him I tried to stop you, but you escaped. We can still avoid a war.
No, you can't.
Oh no. Oh, this is sad. Oh, I don't want to have to fight them.
I don't want to hurt you.
Damn. This sucks. I don't want her to hurt them either. Oof. Oh, she was Naruto running. Nice. Ooh. Oh, shit, Korra. She's rope bending now. The fact that he hasn't said anything makes me think, is it not her dad? Huh?
Who are you? Where's my
It's
father?
just a dude.
He wouldn't help us. He's a traitor, just like you.
Okay. Alright, that makes more sense to me. Right. Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you for saving my life.
That makes me more comfortable,
I'm just glad I got here.
knowing that her dad didn't do that.
Find Varrick.
Let them stand trial for what they did.
Yeah,
Every Water Tribe citizen deserves that right.
that's true.
Respect the Avatar's wishes in this matter.
Thank you, Uncle.
Good. I
I
think.
told you those rocks were slippery.
It's hard to
You're lucky
tell.
you didn't kill yourself.
You don't get to tell me what I can and can't do. Deal with that.
Good luck to
Oh
you and
my
yourself
God, there's
with
so
your
much-
special non-bending powers.
Hey,
So much
back me
tension
up here,
between these
Tenzin.
siblings.
Kaya's right.
Come on, let this be
Is it okay
a
if I come
positive. Please. Yes, good.
We heard what happened. Are you okay?
Oh,
I don't know what I would have done.
I had no idea how far Varrick was willing to, but I would never attack him.
I'm sorry for thinking you had anything to do with the rebels. And for all the pain I've caused you and Mom.
oh.
Who should apologize?
And Simple was over. We knew one day the world would need you, and you wouldn't need us anymore.
Mom, Dad.
Oh, that's really
Of
sad.
course I still need you.
Is this Varrick?
We weren't expecting
Oh no,
him.
it's
Tonrock,
unelaq.
you are under arrest and will
No,
stand trial.
no,
Trial?
we're having a
For what?
Trying to assassinate me.
the fuck. We're having a moment here, dude. Oh my god. My goodness gracious. There's honestly like, okay, so this episode had like, even if it wasn't the most, I guess, action-packed. I mean, there was some action, but it wasn't the most action-packed episode, and like, I feel like as a whole, like the whole Equalist thing was kind of more of an engaging storyline overall. But I'm not going to compare the two because this one's doing a very different thing. This story seems to be writing a lot more complexity into these characters and their relationships with one another. I am actually extremely impressed with some of the character decisions that are being made here. And some character decisions that I think some people will like not be, I guess, super happy about, possibly. I don't know. So I gotta say, I think the writers of this show are so very brave because The Legend of Korra takes so many risks as a show in terms of the way that they allow their characters to be flawed. Every character is allowed to be flawed constantly. And I mean, this is also something, I'm just seeing now Zhu Li. I just have the credits up and I see Zhu Li is voiced by Stephanie Sheh. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Sheh, S-H-E-H. She's an anime voice actress and she's a great voice actress. Anyway, this show allows all of their characters to be flawed. And I mean, obviously that starts with Korra. I've talked about Korra being flawed enough. I do that in every fucking episode. I'm going to try to avoid talking about how, you know, flawed she is as a character. But rather, I want to talk about some of these other characters. Like, for example, this episode makes it very clear some of the flaws of Aang, which is a very crazy thing to do, or just a brave thing to do at this point, because we've already seen Aang go through some, you know, character flaws, and Avatar did this as well. And it's something that Avatar The Last Airbender is praised for quite a lot, is the fact that their characters, like, they're not afraid to show their characters' flaws and get over them. And it's especially shown a lot when people talk about Avatar The Last Airbender and their female characters, where they have strong female characters, mostly in Katara and Toph and Azula, I guess. I say I guess. I mean I guess as in she's not going to be like a role model for you know, for girls growing up a lot, because she's so insane and evil, but she will be I guess she'll be a role model in the fact that, like, oh, look how cool a female character can be. But anyway, with these characters, they all show very strong flaws that come through a lot. Like, Katara shows a lot of jealousy, and Katara shows an unwillingness to let go. Like, she sort of, when things are important to her, she refuses to let go of them. You see that in the Painted Lady. You see that in the not being able to being very frustrated with the waterbending teacher that won't teach her in the North Pole, South Pole, North Pole. I always forget. I always get them mixed up. And you see it obviously with her wanting to find the person who killed her mother. So those were like big flaws of Katara. Obviously Toph had major flaws. I think those flaws are pretty obvious, her stubbornness and all that sort of stuff. I'm speaking through this quickly because people know about all of this stuff a lot. People understand that Avatar: The Last Airbender had a lot of flaws with the characters, and Aang in that show had a lot of flaws as well. He would sometimes get frustrated with people, and especially like towards the end when he was thinking about compromising his beliefs, he was frustrated with everyone else who was trying to help him get through it because they didn't truly understand what he was going through. And he also was like naive and emotional in a lot of ways, and made a lot of bad decisions based on emotion. When Appa was taken, he was making a lot of pretty aggressive decisions based on emotion. And the time that he hid the message from Katara and Sokka's father out of jealousy. So there's a lot. So this is something that Avatar: The Last Airbender did all the time, and that the Legend of Korra is doing a lot as well. But we still kind of think Aang's gone through his flaws, he's worked through them, and he's past them. 13 years old, and he's figured out all of his flaws. But no, he has more flaws, and we're not going to watch him work through them because he's not in the show, but we can hear about how he had them and what they were. And I think it's really interesting and cool that in this episode we learn that Aang was not a great father to some of his children, and that I think is important. And I think after seeing this episode, I think it's something I've heard people talk about. Like, people have talked about, some people who don't like the show, they didn't like, what they did retroactively with Aang as a character. Now, I really, really like it. I think it's super interesting. I think it makes total sense for Aang. And I think it's important to not hold him on a major pedestal, because that's part of the theming of the show, is the idea that the Avatar is still a human being and still flawed. And Korra is a human being and is very flawed. And we can't just pretend that Aang was this perfect human being either. No, he had a sense of responsibility, and because he had this sense of responsibility, it got so much that he couldn't focus fully on parenting. However, he did get drawn a lot to Tenzin because he cares a lot about his own culture. He's always cared about his culture. It's always been incredibly important to him. He lost all of his people all at once, all in the blink of an eye for him. He went into an iceberg, he woke up, all of his people were dead in an instant for him. So because of that, and because of the fact that he's trying to carry on his own spirituality, his culture is very important to him. So I can totally see him having children, and one of them is an airbender, and he pays particular attention making sure his culture is passed down to Tenzin, so much so that it neglects the other children. And I think that's a brave choice. I think that's a brilliant choice from a writing perspective. And I think the way that all three of those characters, all of the siblings, react to that is realistic and interesting. And it shows that Tenzin, who has been the moral voice up to this point, he has still shown flaws, but we haven't sort of seen him this, I guess, naive. He's got a kind of a narrow view of the world and of his own childhood. And so these other characters, Bumi and I forget the name of I think Kia, is that what her name is? Kia. So Bumi and Kia, they add perspective to the scene, to this show, to be able to show this is how Tenzin is, and he doesn't see like everything perfectly, you know? He has a lot of pressures on himself, and even though he has these pressures on himself, he is still kind of short-sighted. He still is making a lot of the same mistakes that Aang made. And I think that's also not to say that that Bumi and Kia are like 100% correct either. I mean, they also may have their own warped perceptions of things. We're still on a he said, she said scenario here. And I mean, in a way, also, there are so many names in this show. Tenzin is right, because he's saying, like, you don't know what it's like to have an entire culture on your shoulders. Like, his family are still the only airbenders in the world, and he's focused so hard on passing that down while also training the Avatar and doing all of this important spirituality stuff. And so because of that, you know, sometimes raising the family at the same time and also making sure not to be neglectful to my siblings and all of that sort of stuff, it's got to be difficult. It's got to be extremely tough. But yeah, it's those sorts of complex situations and conversations that make me think this is a terrible kids show. Like, Avatar: The Last Airbender was a great, amazing, all-time incredible, one of the best TV shows ever created. Okay, it was. And it also worked well as a good kids show. I know, because I was a kid when I first watched it, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome. And part of why that is because, firstly, it doesn't seem to talk down to the children, but secondly, it still has a lot of things that are easy enough for a child to grasp and are not boring. You know, it continues this, like, action. It's got a through line on an episode. Like, it's, you know, progressing towards something at all times while also adding in a lot of humor and a lot of there's a lot of great stuff going on in there that also would be easy enough for kids to grasp certain things. Kids may not get the complexities of some of the characters and the decisions and the political things that are going on, but they will generally understand the grand scheme of things and what's happening. And also, just the power system in general is pretty simple. Earthbenders pick up rocks, waterbenders pick up water, airbenders blow around the air, and firebenders create fire. It's very, very simple. It's just 4 things to remember, so kids can pick that sort of stuff up really well. Now, The Legend of Korra was clearly written to focus more on like a teen audience or older, because there are this show, like an episode like this, if I was a kid and I watched an episode like this, I would have said, that's a bad episode. That's boring. I don't like this show anymore. Click off. Bye. Because this episode was so character-based and so many complex things going on. And a kid, I think, also would have just been frustrated and angry at the characters that they're not getting along right and all that sort of stuff, you know? And it's about like a civil war. It's about it's about trying to stop a war from happening. There's like all these political things going on, and also it's not clear who the bad guy is in any of these situations, which would be tough for a kid as well. When they don't know who they're supposed to root for, then, you know, that's got to be tough as well. So this show, I really cannot see like kids liking it. But I mean, I guess prove me wrong if you have like little brothers or sisters or something, and you know that, like, or children, I guess. Also, I guess I'm just assuming everyone's the same age as me or a little bit younger, but you also, you know, could have children. If you have children that, like, you know, maybe they love Legend of Korra, I don't know. I really have no idea. I mean, I'm sure there's certainly a lot of stuff that kids would like in The Legend of Korra. I'm talking about overall, and episodes like this, you know, how would a child react to an episode like this? I also want to talk about something that I was thinking about. I'm pretty sure this is not the case, but I thought this would be an interesting thing to bring up. So Aang's children are Tenzin, Kia, and Bumi, right? And Kia is a waterbender, and Tenzin is a airbender, and Bumi is a non-bender, right? And their parents, Katara and Aang, are waterbender and airbender. So we have like their elements covered, right? But here's the thing. Aang is the Avatar. So he can bend all 4 elements. Now, if bending worked as like genes, like you had bending genes within you, would it be possible? And I think the answer is no. I'm like 90% sure the answer is no. Otherwise, I think they would have had it happen here. But is it possible that Aang could pass down earthbending, for example, to his children? You know, like if they had Bumi as an earthbender, just because, you know, he can bend all 4 elements, so maybe he has all 4 bending genes within him. But I imagine the way it actually works is it's just the tribe that you come from. So Aang, he's the Avatar. He has the ability to bend all 4 elements, but his body is still pure airbender. So I imagine that's what it is. But little fun thought experiment that you know, is it interesting that could be the case? Now, was there anything else that I wanted to talk about? I guess Korra's family. This episode was a lot about family dynamics, which I think is a cool little theme that they kept going throughout the episode. And yeah, the scene with Korra and her family is like at the very end there made me emotional, just because I think most of the times Korra cries is gonna make me emotional, because she's got such a hardened exterior that when she like lets herself be emotional, I think that's really touching, and I'm still super attached to her, and I want her to be happy. And I also know that often when she cries, it's because she's like making up with someone, or, you know, opening up to someone in a way that's going to be very therapeutic for that person that she's talking to and her. But what a scene that was at the end, and it goes to show, like, when you just sit down and calmly communicate with someone, a lot of the time you can get a lot done. It's very difficult to do that, but when you can do it, it's amazing. And I feel bad for Korra's dad, and but I kind of also understand why Korra was so angry. That's the thing. Every single conversation, I feel like I can't properly react. I think for this series, and don't tell the other shows on my channel that I said this series, The Legend of Korra, is the #1 reason you would be subscribed to my Patreon account, and the #1 purpose for it, I think, for multiple reasons. 1, we're decently far ahead on Patreon, but 2, because I think there are some scenes that my reactions to the scene will not fully make the edit, because I'm not like making any noise or saying anything during the scene, and so it kind of gets cut out in the edit. But during the scene, I am actually like contemplating a lot, so the full-length reaction will have me contemplating it. And the reason I don't say anything during the scene is because I am trying to process, like, who do I think is right in this situation, and like what should I be feeling right now? And there's a lot going on. How would these people resolve this situation in this scene right now? And I was thinking that all through the scene where Korra is talking to her mother alone, where I was going back and forth going, I don't know who I'm falling more to the side of in this situation. Like, I think Korra's mother's right, but at the same time, I can't dismiss Korra's feelings on this situation, and she's also trying to stop a war right now. And should we be encouraging like a rebellion at this point? You know, I really don't know. So it's very complex, and Legend of Korra, I'm having another fucking super long discussion on it. I hope if you guys enjoy these super long discussions, please make sure to let me know. because if you guys are like, oh no, I'd actually prefer if you cut down your discussions a little bit, then maybe I'll try to do that in the future. But if you're like, no, make longer discussions, then maybe I'd consider doing that. Really let me know what you think. I think this discussion was pretty solid. I think I had a lot to say about this episode, but I understand sometimes I just go on ramblings and I get hard to understand and maybe annoying, and I go in circles and then I say wrong things. So it happens. But thank you so much for watching this reaction to Season 2, Episode 3 of Legend of Korra. I'm also recording this at 4 a.m., which I know might sound crazy, but that's actually kind of when I'm the most awake, which might be also why I'm discussing it quite a lot. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure to support the video if you can, liking, commenting, and subscribing. And my Patreon account has full-length early access and exclusive videos, and also a new tier on my Patreon account. It's a VIP tier, so if it's an expensive tier, but if you want to join it, you'll be able to request a reaction video from me, like the first episode of your favorite show or whatever. So it's more expensive than the regular tier, but you can request a video from me, and also I'll mention your name at the end of the video. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.